Okay, so today's session will be on parameters and advanced charting techniques. First, we'll understand what is parameters. Parameters means they are a dynamic way of applying the values to a formula or a selection. Why we actually have to do or say work on parameters is it will help me in giving me a dynamic reports or dynamic results. So how to work on this? I'll show you, with a simple way, and then we'll see how we can use it in a complex way as well. So if you go here, I have a lot of values. We used to create a lot of say reports, charts, tables. Let's go here. I'll take a subcategory and then I'll take a sales value. Let's make this a bar chart, right? So the simple way where we created this bar chart. Now I want to get the values only top 5 or say top 10 or top 3. So what I'll do in the previous session, we gave a formula saying that index or last and we try to filter it. But otherwise, if you want to have a kind of option where I can only filter top 5 or say top 10 by selection. So for that, what I'll do is let's take this subcategory and I'll put it here. When I put this, I'll get the filters here. I can have the filters like this that we saw in our previous session. I'll say okay. So this will give me only these values. But now what my requirement is? My requirement is to get the top values. Let me go here. We'll say edit filter. Instead of selecting this, I'll say top. And I'll say field. If I say top 10 or say top 5, if I say okay. So depending on the values, I'll get this top 5. Let me change this to top. Here I have top 10. I'll make it as top 5. I'll say okay. Then I'll get only top 5. Now if you want top 7, then I'll go here. I'll again say filter and say top 7 and say okay. So every time what I'm doing is I'm trying to go and change the say top the nth value. Instead what I'll do is I'll try to have a option such a way that instead of going and checking always like this, to changing the top 5 or say 7 or 10, I'll give one option where I can do it automatically instead of again and again going and changing it. So for that we call it as parameters. Let me go here. I'll click on this. I'll say edit filter. Here I have this top. Click on this top. Now I mentioned here as a number. Just click here. It will say create new parameter. When I click on this new parameter, see, I'll get one window like this. So what is this window? It's nothing but it's a parameter creation window. So I can create a parameter here. Let me go here. I'll say para top n. I'll mention as top n here. Here it says current value is 7 because I had mentioned previously. And then it says automatic, then all list and range. As of now, we'll take it as range. I'll say minimum value is 1. I will make it as 15, enough. Say top 1 to 15, we'll see. Step size. Here it says 1. I can change this however I want. I'll come to this part later. This is one simple parameter what I'm creating. I'm saying top n is my parameter name. And here it says current value. This we can anyways change. Let this be as range. I'll say 1 to 15 as my range. The step size is 1. Step size means the change, the number what we change. I'll say okay. Now this says para top n instead of a number. Let me go and say okay, and you can see a new parameter has been created here in this parameter section. So previously these two were there. Forget about this. Say para top n. Now once I did, I got one control here where now I can go and change this. See, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So this will become dynamic now. So I can go and select however I want. So I'm passing a value so that the parameter value is passed here in this filter, and then this is getting filtered. See, like this. This is one thing. Next, I can also create this parameter directly instead of going to that top 5 or top n or whatever. How to create this directly? Let's go to this. There is a small arrow which we used to do this calculated field. Here I have this create parameter. If I click on this create parameter, see, again I'll get one parameter name here and the data type, and here the current value, and here again give me the range. Let me go and click on this, and here it says integer, string, boolean, data, whatever. I'll click on this integer, and then here it says current value, let it be 1, and here let this be as automatic, you don't have to change this, and here I'll say range. Same thing I can do what I did there in top n, I can do here also. So why I showed that first is that is a simple way of directly creating the parameter. Now what you're trying to do is you're trying to create the same kind of parameter here. Now I'll change this to para top n and say direct. Here it lasts for minimum and maximum range. Again, now I'll give 1 to 15, but now what I'll do, the step size as 5. Now I'll say okay. Now again I have one more parameter here, top n, this one. Let me remove this. I'll say hide. Now I have this top parameter n, that is top n direct. Go here, edit filter. Instead of this top, here I have this parameter top n. I can select the new parameter and say okay. Now I don't have the control here. Just go here and say show parameter control. See, I'll get the parameter control here. Now let me click on this. See, it was 1. The next one is 6 because I given the step as 5. Click on this. See, you want to the next level like this. So you can use something like this as well. The parameter is nothing but the way what you're passing the value. Fine. I can use this in various other ways as well. I can create a set and then I can use this parameters. Now we'll see how we can create a set and then create a parameter. Here I have this subcategory. To create a set, what we do? Right click, create a set. Let me select only few of the subcategories like this. Say okay. And there is a set which got created. Let me rename this. I'll say set for parameter. Now I want to create a parameter out of this. Parameter means it's just a selection. Now we saw about the parameter creation for numbers. Now we'll see how we can use this. Let's go here and say create parameter. See, either I can go here or I can create from here also. The easiest way is right click here and say parameter. If you see this, it says a parameter for this set. Now previously it was integer, now it has got to string. The reason is here, this is the text. And what you see here is, see, the values. Now here, the current value, whatever is there, just keep it as is. You don't have to bother about this because whatever value you are giving here, once you create this parameter, automatically it will take that parameter. Now I'll say okay. Then what we'll do, we'll try to use this parameter in filtering or anything, whatever is there. Let me take this and I'll put it here. Say right click, say show parameter control. See, but this has to be applied somewhere. How to apply this? This can be applied in my formulas or it can be applied in anywhere I'm actually using these kind of values. Let me take this in a formula like whatever I have here, say binders, right? How to take this? Let's write a formula here. Say get parameter formula. Whatever value I'm taking here, that I can specify here. Let's say if this one, that is set para whatever is there, I'll say subcategory equals, okay, this one we are trying to apply such a way that say this subcategory equals this, so whatever is there, but this has to match. So what we'll do, we'll try to use this. See, this is how we can use the parameter formula here. That means whatever value is there here, that will come here. Or you can also use like this. See, you can give the set parameter. I'll say copiers like this, else, and here if you want, you can just specify anything. Say sum of sales multiplied by, or we'll say it is C. Otherwise, we'll just make it simple and say all get. What do we say here? Let's see. Right. Now I'll say okay. Now see here what I've done in this formula, the edit. I'm using this if this equals copiers. That means if I'm selecting here, it should say C. Otherwise, I'm saying here all category. So like this also I can use this parameter. Let me go here. I'll just take this category, subcategory, and I'll put it here. And then I can take this, subcategory. Now let me go and say accessories. See, automatically it will get changed. Whenever I'm changing this to copiers, see, like fine. This is a simple way to show this parameters. Now what we'll do, we'll see some more ways how to create this. Now we saw this top 10 or top 5 or whatever. Let's take one more example like that. I'll go here, say create calculated field. Here I'll say para with text. So we take parameter. Here I'll say text. Here again we'll say integer, and we'll not say range, we'll say list. We're trying to create a list for the same top 10 or whatever. I'll go here, I'll say top 3, then 5, then say 7, then say 10, and then I'll say 15. Now what I've created here is top 3, top 5, top 7, top 10, top 15. Then here I'll say display as, instead of 3, I'll say top 3. Here I'll say top 5. Then top 7. Here I'll say top 10. Here we'll say top 15. In the previous example, what did we do? We gave a range, but here what I'm trying to do, here I'm giving this top 3, top 5, top 7. It's a text. But what it will do, this is just to display, that's it. But the value what it is passing is this one. I'll say okay. I have this parameter with text. Now what we'll do, we'll create a similar scenario where I'll take this subcategory, and then I'll take the sales, and then we'll take the subcategory and I'll put it here. Now I'll go to this top, the field, here and say top with text. Say okay. Now we'll take this top, this para with text and say show parameter control. See here, Let me select this top file. I'll take top file. If you want to see with the chart, I'll just click here. See, top so say top 50 like this. Right. One more way. We saw working on conditional formatting. Let me take this region and then I'll take this category, take it here, and we'll take some values here, sales. Then if you want, we'll take one more ship mode here. I have a table like this. I want to highlight these regions. So in the previous session, what did we do? Go here, say create calculated field. I'll create one calculated field. I'll say conditional formatting. The region equals, I'll mention as east. So this is what the last class we did. I'll say okay. And then I'll take this color and I'll put it here. Right. Now we saw this, so we are highlighting this. But if you want to highlight south, so what did we do? So we used to go here and try to modify this conditional formatting. Right click and say edit, and here we used to mention as south. Say okay. So what will happen? See, the south is getting highlighted. So instead of doing this, so what we'll do is let's go here in this region, right click and say create a parameter. See, I got the central, east, west, blah blah blah, whatever. I'll go here, say string. Here I'll say region parameter. Let it be like this. The current value you can change it or you can keep it as is. Make it a list. Now I'll say okay. Region parameter. Make a note of this always. Okay, let me copy this. Say okay. Now what I'll do in this formula, what I've written, the calculated field, that is the conditional formatting region. Just go here and I will use that region parameter. Understood what I did? I just took this region parameter. Now what we'll do, we'll go here, this region parameter, right click and I'll say show parameter control. See? Now let me say east. See? Like this. You can use this parameter anywhere in your formulas, in your conditional formatting like this. Wherever you feel that you're trying to pass a value, you can use this parameter. One way is I can go here, say right click, just go on any of the fields and say right click and say create parameter. Automatically it will give me the parameter name here. Or I can go here, add from fields. See here, let me say segment. See, that will get added here. Just go here. So if you want to add, so you don't have to keep typing, just go here and say any of this. If you select, it will keep getting added. This is for the value which passes. If you want the same value to be here, then you can use the display as the same. Otherwise, if you want to have something like a short form or something, you can go and you can double click and you can edit this as well. You can also add this, say from the parameter like this. Suppose if you have anything, say if this actually matches, then you can go here, you can add that as well like this. You can copy and you can paste as well. Suppose if I have typed in Excel or something, copy and say paste from clipboard. The clipboard is there, just paste it. Now I don't have anything, I don't know what I've copied. So just click on this paste, it will get added here. So likewise, the parameter has to be created and there is a separate section where the parameter will be created here. And then I can use this anywhere with the options what we discussed. Okay, so this is what we have in our parameters.